Hey, what's up, guys? Today we have another Friday. Another Friday is another chapter of My Hero Academia. This time we have chapter 232. And this chapter we actually get to see what Redestro's quirk actually is. But before we get into that, we start off this chapter with an answer to one of my questions about Twice's quirk. So, uh, we know that Twice is able to make. He says he's able to make two things from each. He's able to make one thing from each hand for a total of two things. And he said that he said some rules or whatever. But my question was, is he only able to make one thing? Say for instance, he makes two copies of himself, and then those two copies of himself are allowed to make other people, or is he able to make like one copy of himself and one copy of something else? But like whatever he makes with that one hand, he can only make that thing until it's destroyed. So we get an answer to that. He's able to make, because the chapter starts off with him running up on the boss, Redestro. He clomps out. That's the literal. No, it's glomp, not even clomp. He pops out of copy of himself, makes a Shigaraki. The copy pops out a copy of Twice, makes a Dabi, and then that third copy makes I'm not sure. That third copy makes a Mr. Twice. I mean, not a Mr. Twice, Mr. Compress. After that, we see Redestro. He's like, yeah, there were quite a some couple of number of soldiers down below. You got through them that easily, and the first thing. He's like, Twice, now that he's like mentally stable and stuff, he says like, now listen up, bastards. You guys are all copies. Got it? So he's talking to not himself, but he's talking to the Dabi, the Mr. Compress, and the Shigaraki, and he tells them like, you guys are copies. So don't you be afraid to go out there and die. Even if you die, you will not die. You guys are copies. Just fight this guy to your heart's content. And each of them say their own thing, because I guess I guess it makes even more sense now. Like when he makes a copy of it, they don't know that they're a copy. For instance, his own clones, they start debating like, yeah, so wait, he's like, wait, I'm the original. I thought I was the original. Which one of us is the original? They start debating that. But Shigaraki, he's like, each of them got their own little thing. He's like, don't copy your leader just to kill somebody off. And then he's like, Dobby's like, it'll put your heart at ease. Like, I don't know why, but. And then Mr. Compress is like, when'd you master control over? He's like, when'd you break through your psychological barriers? He's like, oh yeah, you guys weren't there. Yeah, I'm cool with myself now. And then like we get this funny moment where one of the clones is like, are you the? He's like, are you stupid? I'm the original. And he's like, wait, are you? I'm pretty sure I'm the original. He's like, shut up, it doesn't matter. And then like the one who like said he's the original runs off and gets destroyed, like gets his head like blown off, and then they like see he's a fake. They start like laughing and stuff. But the Redestro, he says like, aren't you're quite fragile, like because he fell apart, which makes sense because like as Twice said, each one, the more he makes, the weaker they get. And we see like Redestro do this black finger thing, kind of like he wiped his ass with his finger, but it's whatever. After that, they're like, did you just see that? We start getting little hints of his quirk. I was hoping that they wouldn't just like give us this little tease and then be like, all right, next chapter we'll show y'all something. After that, it's and again these copies of like the people, they're like free thinking, which kind of makes me wonder like, does does um does Twice get like their personality from like knowing them personally? Like when he creates them, they're like the original, but how so? Like if Dobby thinks that the original is like really nice or something, will they come out nicer than the original? or would they like will they always have like the same exact mindset as the original? And say if Twice hasn't met them in like 6 years and that person completely changed, will the copy like get that like off some wavelength, get that person's like new personality even though Twice doesn't know they exist? But, but yeah, that was just one question that just popped into my head. But after that, they instantly start trying to get Garon back, and that's when we see Redestro pop out his quirk, Big Soup. I'm just kidding, but he pops out his quirk and he makes his arm like super big, which kind of reminds me of like Mr. Fantastic. I feel like he's gonna like that's gonna be like his quirk, like stretch or something. But he pops out this giant meat beat arm and he just like slaps through everybody that just ran up at him and blows out the top of the building. Now, what's left before he's like, it's ridiculous that you would even think you were even in my league. And before one of the clones disappear, one of the Twice clones, it copies another clone to grab Giron, and they're trying to still escape with him. He says he's sorry for leaking data and stuff like that, and then Twice is like, you don't have to be sorry, don't apologize for anything. And Redestro basically tells him, he's like, I had no intention on killing Garon. Like, he's not one of you guys. I just used him to bring you guys out here. I'm gonna kill you guys personally. So Shigaraki's clone starts fighting with um with Redestro. Redestro dodges, block as not to get touched. He dodges, activates his quirk once again, and he starts telling the story of his father. He's like, once upon a time, a woman gave birth to a child with special abilities. At this time, the world was still chaotic, with prejudice and, against people with special abilities. And she whispered a quiet whisper, was she? But all I wish for is a world where he can live freely. You know, something like that. Typical, typical bad guy, spiel shit. And so he's like the world heard her whisper, but they only acted on it slightly, like when they made like quirks legal and stuff, but to a certain extent, he's like they heard part of it, but they ignored the rest. Quirks need to be completely free as is. And when he like subdues the Shigaraki clone, he asks him a question, and he's like, I was hoping I want you to answer for the sake of the world. Like, what do you think of the mother? What do you think what, yeah, I'm not sure if it's like the question he asked his when he gave his assistant the book and he told him like, what's your opinion on it? Maybe that's kind of like how the book ends. Like, what if you agree with the mother, then you're capable of joining the Liberation Army. But if you don't, then as we saw with the assistant, you get bodied and obliterated. So he's asking them, he's talking to Shigaraki. He's like, does your ragtag group of hoodlums with nothing but destruction on their minds, like, think that their ambitions could possibly outweigh ours? Like, he's talking to him, but when he asks like, what did you think of the mother? I feel like Redestro was, because as we saw, he didn't want to kill the assistant, but like their ideals didn't line up, so he just killed him. I feel like he's asking, do you think you can get on board with that? Like, what do you think? Let me hear your opinion, and then based on that, I might not kill you, because he doesn't destroy him right away. He's just holding him within his big arm, and that's when he starts doing this dialogue thing or whatever, and that's when Twice gets Garan. And he starts saying, he's like, in your first attack, I flew by the window and happened to see down below. It's coming. Tap. The tap is just the real Shigaraki touching the tower, and he lightly touches it, and it completely crumbles away instantly, quickly. Like not even like from what it looks of it, like right then and there. Definitely an upgrade. And then it ends. He's like, people would die from a fall like that. You must be the boss villain. Looks like I won't have a chance to hear your answer since the previous Shigaraki got the clone one got destroyed. He didn't get to actually get the answer to the question. But I'm interested in seeing what their actual dialogue will be like. Now that Shigaraki's here, and that's when the chapter ends. All in all, it was a great chapter. Waiting for next week's chapter. But if you made it this far in the video, thank you for listening to what I had to say. If you like anything I have to say, feel free to leave a like or subscribe or comment. Comment something funny. And wherever you are in this world, have a great day and peace.